Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We can see that Bitcoin has not made it above 42k. We're going to take a look at that, what that means. We can also see that Ethereum is losing out a little bit. There is some profit taking going on, but most cryptos are still in a uptrend or slight uptrend. But in the last few hours, they have started to correct down. What is impressive is Ethereum Classic, by the way. Not sure what's going on there, to be honest. But overall, yeah, either a slight uptrend still. Some cryptos have already started to turn around while Bitcoin is struggling to move above 42k. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, as you will know, still here in this overall correction in the triangle here. Two scenarios for every new viewer. Primary scenario is that we go straight away into this target area here between 20 and 29k. And the alternative is that we break above this triangle, we move into this area between 55 and 65k that is located between Fibonacci retracement levels of this wave down. And if we get into this area, we should then turn around, as this is then a so-called wave B, after which you have a wave C. And in this wave C, we would then get into my target area. So in both scenarios, we head down into this target area, yeah? So what is Bitcoin doing? I think that is what interests most people here, because nothing new really in the grand scheme of things. But here in the small scale, we can see that Bitcoin did break out of this so-called bullish pennant, did only really reach that sort of conservative target. So it's basically the beginning of that wedge pattern, yeah, that is usually the conservative target, and it hit it pretty much exactly. Did not manage to push above it, and those long wicks here on the 1 hour chart to the upside, they are not great. They show that Bitcoin struggled, and that second high here was also a lower high. And also on top of that, we can see here a bearish divergence on the chart. So meaning that we made a higher high on the price or the same high. I think we actually pushed a little bit higher, but the RSI was a little bit lower. Yeah, so a lower high on the RSI. Yes, it's only the 1 hour chart, but still it shows there is now a chance, or a greater chance, that the price is now coming down a little bit. And we might have seen that already. It has come down a little bit, or we might see more of a market rollover now in over today and tomorrow. We can see that here the MACD on the 1 hour chart is already building negative momentum. Yes, it's flattened out for now. So pretty much moving sideways at the moment, but the MACD line is still heading down, and it has not turned around yet. So this is something to keep an eye on to understand, is the MACD going to turn around? Is it heading further down? But what I can tell you is that the price is really struggling to push much higher here at the moment. And that is not a good sign, because it takes quite long. Okay, so looking at the 4 hour chart, we were getting close to being overbought. That is correcting down a little bit now. What is quite important to understand though is here on the MACD, and that is the 4 hour MACD, which is more meaningful than the 1 hour MACD. I mean, first of all, look at the price action. We can see now a second red candle. We can see there a engulfing red candle, which is quite a bearish sign. Yeah, I mean, bear in mind, it's only the 4 hour chart, so it's not too meaningful, but nevertheless, it's on the 4 hour chart. So it's also not to be disregarded. So yeah, you've got this engulfing red candle where this candle body engulfs the previous candle body's price action, and this is a rather bearish sign. It shows the rejection from that 42.5k level, and on top of that, we can see the MACD probably going to print a bearish crossover. And if that's going to happen, you can probably see some further price decreases. That would work very well with a 1 hour bearish divergence on the RSI. And also here, the stochastic RSI on the 4 hour was pretty much overbought. So also this seems to be heading already further down. So I would rather say that Bitcoin is not able to push much higher here. The volume didn't come in, yeah. And that's what I told you in the last video. If you don't see the volume come in, there is a risk that all of this is just a fake out. You can see that here also the MACD on the 8 hour, it's losing a bit of buying momentum. Nothing significant though. The RSI on the 8 hour still has further scope to the upside. Okay, let's take a look at the daily. On the daily, okay, on the daily it's still pushing higher. So on the daily you still have further upside potential. The MACD still in good buying momentum, and also the RSI has made it into the bullish range. So on the daily we don't see anything of that sort of bearishness, yeah. However, you can see that from throughout these four green candles here, every green candle is getting smaller. So looking at price action alone, this just indicates that it's running out of steam. It's starting to run out of steam, especially on the shorter time frames. We've just seen that with that bearish divergence, with a 4-hour MACD turning down. So on the daily chart, it still has further room for further upside, and you can see that the MACD is still heading further up. We just need to be aware that it usually starts on the lower time frames and then moves onto the higher time frames. So what you can now see on the shorter time frames will translate itself sooner or later onto the higher time frame. And if Bitcoin doesn't really get the volume in now, and you can see how here over the last few days the volume decreased, yeah, then Bitcoin will have a difficulty to really push higher. I mean, this is that zone that we talked about anyway, that if you break here, and you can see how that was rejection point here and resistance, if you break above 39.7, then you can move easily all the way up to 42.6, 42.7, and we pretty much got close to that. Not quite, but you got close to that. That is the resistance level where we had resistance quite a few times before. Now it hasn't quite got there, but I think it was very close. There is still, of course, a chance it gets there, but I'm just telling you it's running out of steam. And this is looking a little bit like it's rolling over a little bit. It hasn't lost the uptrend yet, so we can draw a trend line here. That is important to understand. We can draw a trend line here. And what I could imagine we're going to do with, on the shorter time frames, this bearish MACD crossover that's potentially coming, and the RSI, which is a 1-hour chart bearish divergence, that you are going to pull back to this ascending trend line. Yeah, so I'm going to leave that on the chart here, but I could imagine that we do from here either move sideways or down, and you get a pullback to that trend line, and then this will be a decision point where either the volume is coming in and we're really pushing to that resistance level at 42.6, 42.7, or you're losing it. And if you're losing it, I think then you're going to go down again, and you could even go down to 40.3K. But we can also take the VPVR indicator to get a better understanding of where the price might be finding resistance and support. So let's put the VPVR on this chart, and there you go. So this shows the sort of historical volume. We can see a very, very big area of support will be down here at around 39K, but within this area here, so let's say this is also why we are currently finding resistance here, probably around 42K, okay, on support. This suggests rather that you're going to find around support. Should you fall now, you're probably going to find support here in the area between, yeah, I would say 40.4 and 41K. This is then where we might be finding support should you lose this ascending trend line. And then we need to see how the price is going to react to that. So yeah, that's really what we can look at here with Bitcoin. I can take a final look at the EMA ribbon. If I hide the VPVR, this is the 4-hour chart. You're above the EMA ribbon. That's a good sign as well. Again, you can see how when you got the long signal here on the EMA ribbon, that was a good signal. So it worked out, had quite a bit of upside since then. And of course, if you break this to the downside again, then this will probably invalidate this whole uptrend again. And also on the 1-hour chart, you're still holding above the EMA ribbon. Probably one reason why you're finding support at the moment. And I'll keep you updated about if we're losing it. Of course, also here on the 8-hour chart, you're above it. And on the daily, let's take a look. On the daily, we are also above it, and they are currently starting to cross. When they are all crossing, that will give a long signal as well, but so far they haven't done it yet. All right, that's my view here on Bitcoin at the moment. Hopefully that was useful. If you liked it, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.